for giving.
It's agricultureinformation.com.
Agricultureinformation.com for having given opportunity to present information related to value chain system in cashew processing in India, opportunities and challenges. So when we talk about the cashew, it is actually a wonderful gift by the God to the mankind, and every walks of life people relish and enjoy it. And as far as this particular topic is concerned, this one is not related to cultivation. This is totally related to processing and agri-business related to cashew ecosystem. So what are the possibilities one can plunge into this business and make a success out of it? That is what I'm going to discuss about it. Let us have a look at India's position in the global cashew industries. When we look at cashew is actually brought to India by the Portuguese travelers in the second half of the 15th century from Brazil. Brazil is the origin for the cashew production in the world. And after the introduction of cashew in this country, it has become very much suitable for the soil condition and the climatic condition existing in this country. And it is spread in the peninsular region of India, starting from Gujarat, Maharashtra, Goa, Karnataka, Kerala, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, then West Bengal too. But sometimes it was actually cultivated in the northeastern region of India, that is Tripura, Meghalaya, Nagaland, and Assam also. It is a claim that actually first it was introduced in Kerala state, but still there are some dictionary information or the literature reveals that actually it was introduced in Goa state. Though it was introduced in the Goa state, the cashew apple, which was actually attaching with the nut, that was utilized for the purpose of preparing alcoholic beverages, whereas the nut production and its related processing aspect, that was actually initially started in Kollam district of Kerala. When you look at it, the total global production of raw cashew nut, when I talk about the raw cashew nut, it is actually the kernel in shell cashew nut. The nut along with the shell, the kernel along with the shell. And a certain terminology we have to understand before going into this particular topic. Cashew kernel is an edible portion. The portion which is actually the 1 millimeter layer which is surrounding the cashew kernel is actually testa. Surrounding that one actually the cashew shell, which has got a honeycomb structure in which the cashew nut shell liquid is present. It is highly corrosive because of the presence of anacardic acid. As far as the production is concerned, all over the world, 32 countries are involved in the commercial production of raw cashew nut. And Ivory Coast in the West Africa, India and Vietnam and Asian countries, total put together 50% of the global production is taking place. And recently, it is Cambodia in Asian region. It claimed that actually around the 7 to 7.5 lakh metric tons of raw cashew nut is produced. When I show other slides, you will understand the total production in the global level in different countries, starting from Africa, Brazil, India, and Asian countries, wherein this Cambodia has not at all figured even up to 22-23. But last year it is claimed that actually Cambodia is able to produce 7 to 8 lakh metric tons of raw cashew nut, and it mostly and about 90 to 95% supply to neighboring country Vietnam, where they have developed the processing facility. A little quantity of 5% it is processed in their country itself. It needs to be checked and verified. So that is the reason I put Cambodia with 3 question marks. But it's a good thing that actually in global level cashew production is moving up. When you look at the production of raw cashew nut in the year 1961, around 2.48 lakh metric tons of raw cashew nut produced in the global level. And recently, that last year, the total production of cashew in the whole world is 48.67 lakh metric tons. It is almost 20 times growth in the production since 1961. It indicates cultivation of raw cashew nut itself is a profitable industry. That is why many people started, and for example, last year the raw cashew nut price of raw cashew nut was around 90 to 100 rupees per kg of raw cashew nut. Whereas this year, sudden hike in the price of the raw cashewnut in the beginning of the season, that is in the month of March. It was around 160 to 170 rupees, but slightly it has come down at the end of the season. Now it is on an average, it is 140 rupees per kg of raw cashewnut. You can just look at jump in the raw cashewnut price. Probably this is one of the reasons why very many people, especially the farming community, they have moved towards that cultivation of the cashew. And very important thing, unlike other crop, cashew doesn't require highly fertile soil. Even low fertile soil, it can grow, and with a minimum rainfall requirement of less than 500 mm, it is sufficient to tolerate, and it can grow in that particular soil. When you look at the world consumption of the cashew kernel, it is around 10.95 lakh metric tons of cashew kernel consumed, and out of which it is a surprising information for all of you that 36% of the total, that is around 3.5 lakh metric tons of cashew kernel consumed by India. That is a really wonderful thing. And probably I can say that per capita consumption of the cashew kernel is around 185 to 190 grams of cashew kernel per individual. You can think of it around 3.75 lakh metric tons consumed by 144 crores of people. When you look at why all these things happening, because India is the first country to understand the potential of the raw cashew nut, and the processing in a big way it starting from Kerala, and it spread to the neighboring states like Karnataka and Tamil Nadu. And 42% of the whole production of the world, it is actually processed in India. Though India's production is around 21% or something, the remaining 22 or 23% it is imported from African countries, and together it is 43% it is processed in this country. And the major competitor for India at present is Vietnam. They are, though they have not produced, cultivate that much cashew, they are importing raw cashew nut in the African country, and having developed a mechanized processing unit, they are able to do it, and they are the major competitor in the international market for the cashew kernel too. Well, let us have a nutritive value of cashew. This information will be helpful to have more information of nutritive value, what is actually at present after a clinical strike with the corona, the pandemic situation. It was there in 2018-19. Everybody got the awareness that they should go for a balanced food for increasing the immunity level of their body. When you look at the cashew, it has got a medium level supply of the calories. It is amount to 553 calories, and sugar level is 6 grams, and the dietary fiber amount to 3.3% of the total weight. So when we look at the sugar and fiber, it's very much whole good for the patients who are having the diabetic problem. And as far as the composition of the cashew kernel is concerned, it is 47% fat, 21% carbohydrate, and 24% protein, and remaining it is vitamins and minerals. When somebody hear that actually it has got a 47% fat, they'll develop a fear complex that consuming fat to that extent, whether it will lead to cardiac arrest. But it is actually it is a different kind of the fat that is present in cashew. It has got PUFA and MUFA, that is polyunsaturated fatty acid and monounsaturated fatty acid. Any food material having unsaturated fatty acid, it's good for health. It is all called actually high density lipoprotein or HDL, and it lowers that low density lipoprotein, which lead to the formation of the cholesterol and finally the cardiac arrest. So mostly that oleic and palmitoleic acids are present, which are very much useful for our body rather than create a health hazard to our body. So even physician, they recommend cashew kernel to the consumption of 12 to 15 kernels per day. Even they are they have undergone bypass surgery, that is cardiac arrest or cardiac ailments. When you look at the mineral composition or something, and see that when copper, magnesium, and manganese are present to the greatest level in cashew, which will help to, for the energy production, brain health, and immunity, and bone health. And selenium is one of the powerful antioxidant present to the tune of 19.9 microgram. So when we talk about antioxidant, it is to protect our body against cancerous cells. That is one thing that many of you have to understand. And probably I would like to recollect the corona situation when very many people were infected after getting admitted in the hospital. It was Dolo 650 that was given in the beginning to reduce the fever, the temperature of the body. Other than that one, other two tablets which were given are, one is a zinc tablet, another one is actually ascorbic acid or vitamin C tablet. When somebody is consuming cashew kernel, it will supply zinc to the level of 5.78 milligrams. And vitamin C is present probably in cashew apple to the tune of 274 milligram per every 100 ml of juice. And that is the only fruit having the maximum amount of ascorbic acid or vitamin C as far as the fruits are concerned. So consuming cashew kernel and cashew apple, it will protect everybody from the not only coronavirus or any other virus which will be infecting our body by the way of raising their immunity. Well, let us look at it. What are the factors that help us to go for the cashew business? First and foremost thing, any agri-business, one has to think about the raw material available in the domestic level or in the country. As far as the raw cashewnut production in the country, it amounts to 7.8 million lakh metric tons of raw cashewnut. It very well support the cashew processing system, and beyond that one, certain certain countries in Africa, they are unable to develop a processing facility, and they are exporting the raw cashewnut from their country to India. That way, last year we got around 13 lakh metric tons, and put together 20 lakh metric tons of raw cashewnut available in this country to promote cashew processing in this country. The basic thing, we have raw cashewnut availability either in the domestic level or by importing from the other countries. Next thing, the primary thing, one can go for cashew processing machinery. Means in the sense, so, either it is a small scale or medium or large scale industry. For any scale of production, required machineries are available in this country and in the east and west coast. So people, they don't have to look for the processing machineries to obtain from the other country. It is very much available in this country. So supply of machinery is a very important factor to go ahead with the cashew processing system in the event of the scarcity of labor in this country. Next one is workforce in the rural sector. Of course, I'm not talking about the urban area, especially in the rural sector. Unemployment is a serious problem. There are very many skilled youths are available. They can be tapped, and they are very much available to support the cashew processing system. When you look at finally, when the cashew kernels are extracted, it has to be sold in the market. Then only they can sustain in the business. For that reason, earlier it used to be exported to other countries, but now Indian consumption of cashew kernel has gone up to 92% of the total production of cashew kernel in this country. That particular one, I will put a separate slide and explain about it. And next one is the revenue through the byproduct. When the cashew kernels are extracted, the byproduct which are available in the cashew processing system are, one is testa, another one is cashewnut shell. Either by extracting the CNSL, that can be sold in the market at the rate of 38 rupees or 48 rupees at present. They can get the additional revenue for that one, and even the cashew shell cake also it can give additional revenue for the cashew industry. So this is another factor which will be supporting the cashew business. Next one is the market network. A very well developed market network is available not only for cashew kernel, even for the byproduct also in this country. And when you talk about the production or processing, expertise are available in this country, like in Directorate of Cashew Research, very many scientists are available. And at the same time, we have All India Coordinated Research Project functioning in different parts of the country in the east and west coast. So either for production or processing, the experts are available. Whenever anybody wants that any technical support, they can be gained from these expertise. And financial support. Of course, many people know that actually, PFFME, there is a scheme, MSME, another scheme, and Make India program, or even that MOFPI, Ministry of Food Processing Industry, they are supporting these sort of small scale industry, especially for cash crop in our country, which actually result in a high profitable industry. Well, what are the opportunities available in the cashew ecosystem? Let me brief it. And when you look at it as a producer, as a farmer, he is a supplier of the raw cashew nut. It may be in the corner of the country, whereas most of the cashew processing units have been started in an urban area. To connect these people, people can do the business of connecting these people, farmers and the processor, and they can get into that kind of business. That is supply of raw cashewnut. Another one is the primary thing, the cashewnut processing. That is actually extraction of the cashew from the edible kernel, selling in the market. When deploying the machinery and involving the required manpower, one can go for a startup on cashewnut processing. Next one is actually the byproduct of the cashew. It is actually cashew apple. And like Goa, one can go for extraction of the alcoholic beverage and continue with that particular business. Even very many products developed in our Institute Directorate of Cashew Research, jam, jelly, even cider and leather, and very many products have been developed, and know-how is actually very much available for the entrepreneurs. It may be budding entrepreneurs or existing entrepreneurs who wish to take the technology, they can approach us. And another one is next byproduct of the cashew processing industries is the cashew shell. By just taking to the expeller, they can extract the CNSL and that can be sold in the market. Even as I told already, the cashew shell cake, it is used for the preparation of fuel briquette, or even the producer gas that can be generated. That kind of technology is also available in our institute. Next, once the cashew kernel is extracted, as I mentioned in the primary cashew processing, it can be sold in the market as a plain cashew. But especially the women self-help group, they can involve in value addition to the cashew. It may be, Kaju Katli, one of the, sweet product that could be made out of cashew, or even flavoring the cashew or coating the cashew. That will add value and consumer attraction for that one. And another one, like the supplying of the raw cashew and connecting the people, the same way, there may, opportunities are available for people taking the cashew kernel from the processor and, linking to the, either it may be a wholesale dealer, retail dealer, or rather even the consumer directly. That way also, it throws a lot of opportunities in the cashew ecosystem. Well, when we go for a cashew, processing system or agro business, there will be some resistance in the market. When we talk about cashew or tree nut, there are 8 different tree nuts that is available, 9 different tree nuts available in the, consumer level, rather I can say the world market. It starts from almond, basil, cashew, hazel, macadamia, pecan, pine, pistachio, and walnut. These are the different tree nuts available. Everybody has got their own preference. But this particular slide I just showed what is the production of different tree nuts available in the world, world level. 8.29 lakhs of tons of cashew kernel that is actually generated in the world, and it stands next to the almond 1.558 lakhs and the walnut 8.81 lakhs. It stands in the third position. Of course, the preference of the tree nuts, it is not clearly known. So, creating a market for that one and proceed with that one, either it is a domestic market or international market, it is the individual process of the marketing who has to look for that one. There are 3 different things one has to look at it when they start the cashew business or maybe of any agro business. One is the production scenario. Another one, in order to improve the value, that is the processing scenario. And last one is marketing scenario. Let us have a look at the production scenario. What is the global production of cashew? And India stands in the third position next to, Ivory Coast 27.2% of total production. And India stands in second position, rather, I can say 21.7 lakh metric, 7%. And third one is at Vietnam of, it is around 3 lakh metric, 3.5 lakh metric tons or something. So when you look at it, India standing in the third position, it supplies a good amount of raw cashew nut for the Indian cashew processing industry. But looking at that, the profitability of the industry, very many people started in the east and west coast, and even in plain region, and probably after some time when I talk about that distribution of the industry, you will be surprising to know that Rajasthan is a place where cashew industries have been started. And when you look at the domestic production, Maharashtra stands in the first position with a 32.9% to the total production. And earlier, around 2 decades or 20 years back, Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu, these 3 states put in the first position or first, second, and third. But now it has pushed to the 4th, 5th, or 6th position. Andhra Pradesh and Odisha, it moved to the 2nd and 3rd position just because these are the places where new hybrids have gone into the field and package of practices of latest technologies that is being followed in these 3 states. Whereas in Karnataka, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu, the cashew cultivation started 30-40 years before. So those trees become senile or aged now, and their production potential has gone down. Now the forest department are planning to take up the replanting work, or they go for a new cultivation in those areas. Well, this is the processing scenario. Just to look at in the beginning of the century, that is 2001, around the 6.99 or 7 lakh metric tons of raw cashewnut that was processed during that particular year. But after 23 years of processing system, when you look at it, it is 20.52 lakh metric tons, and it is almost threefold increase in the processing, production through the processing line. What does it indicate? Definitely, there is no doubt that the cashew processing is a highly profitable industry. Today, a person started looking at the profit what he made. Another person started the next day or another 1 month or 2 months. That is how number of industries increased, and the total quantity of raw cashew that is processed in the country also increased. The third one is the marketing scenario. Though the production scenario is better, processing also it is moving up in a profitable way. Whether we have got a market for the cashew kernel that is considered as the end product of cashew processing system, you look at it 2000-2001, 1,093 crore when they gained through the export of cashew kernel to other countries. Next year, next 5 years or something, it has come declined to 534. Now today, when you look at it, 2020-23, it is minus 11,530 crore. What does it mean? Is it something like by doing that, exporting the cashew kernel, Indian cashew industry is actually incurring the loss? It is absolutely not. Because we are importing the raw cashewnut from other countries, we pay money in terms of American dollar USD, and we are exporting the kernel to the extent it was only 1/10 what we used to do 20 years back. So when the domestic consumption increased, people, the process they didn't have to bother to export following stringent rules and regulations to export the cashew kernel to other countries. Around 92% of the total quantity is actually supplied to domestic market itself. So what is happening? The raw cashewnut are imported from other countries, and it is processed and consumed locally for better price. Probably at this stage, I would like to mention that 1 kg of cashew kernel, 320 grade, it costs around 800 rupees in this country. Same thing when it is exported to other countries in dollars or equivalent Indian INR, it amounts to 650 rupees. It means that approximately 150 rupees they are able to get more by selling the cashew kernel in the internal market itself. That is the reason the dollar value we are incurring more dollar for importing the raw cashewnut, but equivalent quantity that is actually not exported by earning the dollar through that one. That is the reason we are ending up with negative value during the last fiscal year. This is a very important thing you have to understand. The domestic consumption of the cashew kernel in the beginning of the century 2001-2, probably when I just look at the first row, 8.27 lakh metric tons of raw cashewnut processed, and out of which it is expected kernel is 1.90 lakh metric tons, out of which 0.98, that is 98,000 exported to other countries. Equivalent quantity or slightly less than that one, that is 49% or something, it was consumed during that particular period. You look at the last row, 22-23, the quantity processed is around 20.5 lakh metric tons, and out of which 4.27 lakh metric tons it is consumed, only 45,000 only it is exported to other country. And by the way, I can mention that 91% of the total processed quantity it is supplied, it is consumed in this country. It shows that a very strong domestic market exists in this country. So any person can plunge into this particular business. They don't have to follow stringent rule to export the market. In India, the rules and regulation as far as the quality is not to that extent. That is an important point to note here. Yes, this is actually the distribution of the cashew processing units in different parts of the country, and 450 units in Kerala. The important thing is Maharashtra 3,000 units. These are all tiny scale or cottage level industries. Very many self-help group they started. It was supported by the agriculture minister, former agriculture minister, Mr. Sarath Pawar, and it is around 20 years back. It all happened. And 10 women joined together, started a small scale unit in a very small level of production. That is how the number of industries in Maharashtra has gone up, whereas all other industries, their production is on an average 4,000 kg per, day. And when you look at in Tamil Nadu and Odisha, it is actually 800 units and 645 units. And you look at the number of units in, northeastern region, that is AMTM, that is Assam, Manipur, Tripura, Meghalaya, and Nagaland. Even there are cashew processing industry that is also available in northeastern region. That is what I want to mention. And you look at on the top right corner, I have mentioned Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, New Delhi, and Punjab, Haryana. These are the places where cashew is not at all grown. And having no nuts in their location also, cashew factory started. Does it not mean that actually cashew processing is a profitable business and they are able to start at any location in the country and ending with profit? Because these industries totally depend on the import of the raw cashew from other countries. As far as the processing system is concerned, there are three different systems followed in our India. One is drum roasting, second is oil mass roasting, third one is steam boiling technique. And drum roasting is the process only followed in certain places of Kollam area because it is claimed that the end product is of very good quality in terms of taste and flavor. Whereas the steam boiling system is dominant in India because the shell which is coming out of that one through which the CNSL can be extracted and one can get additional revenue out of it. And there is absolutely no pollution through this particular system. And this particular system developed in Dakshin Kannada district of Karnataka, but it is quite spread everywhere in the country, and it is considered as a cost-effective system all over the world. Let me go into the cashew value chain. Cashew, when we divide it into, when it is actually harvested from the tree, it has two different parts. One is cashew nut, which is actually sticking to the bottom of the cashew apple. The cashew apple on the other end. Cashew nut, when it is actually taken in, it has to undergo drying process that I will be explaining at a later stage. And afterwards, it goes to that cashew nut processing. Out of which cashew shell will be applied, cashew nut shell is made, and it is used in a fuel or allied industry. After processing, the important product or end product what we are getting is cashew kernel. So cashew kernel, one can go for value addition for enhancing its value, or cashew butter or like other product also can be extracted from that one. And CNS and these products that can be either it is exported to other countries for sale or otherwise it is supplied to the domestic market. On the other side, you can see that is cashew apple, and the cashew apple actually you can extract the juice that can go into alcoholic preparation of the alcoholic beverage and non-alcoholic beverage. But once it is extracted, the left out material is called pomace. There are very many products that is made out of pomace itself in our institute. Probably after some time, one can contact our institute to get the technological know-how. So the pomace in many places it is added up with the animal feed, and it is very much used for in those lines. And finally, it is ending with the domestic market. See that this is the major part of the cashew value chain one has to understand. This is a simple figure. I would like to say that what is cashewnut processing and apple processing? The raw cashewnut, when it goes for steam conditioning and afterward going to the shelling, the kernels are extracted, and what is actually coming out of the other side is actually cashew shell. It's a byproduct of the cashew industry. And the cashew kernel, still it is not edible. It needs to undergo that drying environment for releasing its moisture, and once it become brittle and hard, and either manual peeling or mechanical peeling, the outer layer, the test stock can be removed and one can get the cashew kernel. And that is an edible portion. And whereas the cashew shell, after, through that expeller, one can get the CNSL, it has got a industrial value. There are 2,800 patents available at present related to the CNSL. Not only extraction process, even the product, it is used in the paint, varnish, colorless resin. Very many industries, it is very much used for that one. And the left portion is cashew shell cake. So this shell cake producer can be generated just like liquefied petroleum gas, or otherwise fuel briquettes can be used. Developed with mixed with that wood ash. So these are the different steps involved in basics of cashewnut processing. It starts with, so basically what is cashewnut processing? It is simply a material separation process, no chemical involved in that one. So by means of manual or mechanical to recover edible kernel and byproducts. When we go for the cashew processing, the quality of raw cashewnut plays an important role. So one has to understand the basics of how to assess the quality. There are three terms that is used to assess the quality of the raw cashewnut. That is nut count, that is NC, outturn, and moisture content. Nut count indicate the size of the raw cashewnut. OT, that is outturn, indicate what is the quantity and quality of the cashew kernel within the shell. And moisture content, that helps us to enhance the shelf life of the raw cashewnut. The different stages of operations of primary processing of the raw cashewnut that is listed out. Starting immediately after obtaining the raw cashewnut, the first and foremost process is it has to undergo drying. So since the harvesting season coincides with the summer season, so harnessing solar energy itself, one can go for a drying of the raw cashewnut. It needs to be exposed under sun for 2 to 3 days. So in order to reduce the moisture to 8%, which is considered to be at the safe level, the drying process is taking place. Once it is dried, it can be taken into storage. And next is, slide onwards, I will be explaining each and every operation. And at last, as a secondary processing, instead of selling the plain cashew, as I mentioned earlier, the value addition can be done so that the profitability can go up. Yeah, this is drying and storage of the raw cashewnut. Just to have a look at it, how the nuts are spread in this particular one. The nuts are spread to 20 centimeter thickness. It is called thin layer drying. It should be dried to the safe level of 8% moisture content, which is considered to be equilibrium moisture content or safe level moisture content. After once it is dried, it is transferred to the gunny or sisal bag of 80 kg, because during the British period itself, it is followed. Still, we are continuing the same method of, storing the raw cashewnut. And since it has got some aeration, because some air can get into this particular sisal or gunny bag, it can avoid the mold formation during the season followed by the harvest, that is actually the rainy season. And in order to avoid the development of heatness, at the bottom of that stored one, that is the last slide, this location, you can just have a look at it. The dunnage or pellets are provided, and it is stacked one over the other to the maximum height of 20 feet. And for every 1 or 2 months or something, the position of the bag should be changed in order to avoid the development of the hot or the heating condition at the bottom, the last bag. If it is allowed, the condensation of the moisture will take place, and finally, instead of having the raw cashewnut, we'll be getting a small plant that is actually sprouting, or germination of the seed that will be taking place. So these are the methodology that need to be followed for storing the raw cashewnut. Well, this is the first operation when we get into the cashew factory. So why this has to be done is a very important thing one has to notice. So without this, raw cashewnut, when we harvest and immediately go for shelling it, it's very difficult to extract the whole kernel, because the ultimate aim in cashewnut processing is to extract the white whole kernel, which fetches premium price in the market. So we have to extract the whole kernel. So in order to extract the whole kernel, this is first and foremost process in the processing line that has to undergo, because it is a steaming process. When we expose the raw cashewnut to the steaming process, it absorbs the moisture and it expands in such a way that actually only the shell structure that will be expanding. Once it is actually completed, it has to be taken out and it will be spread in ambient condition for curing process. During the curing process, the absorbed moisture will be evaporating it. So during that wetting and drying process, the kernel inside will get loosened, and afterward it will be ready to take it for the shelling, where once it is actually opened properly or shelled properly, the whole kernel will be ejected out of it. So let us have a look at it. The next operation, that is shelling, how it started in India. We can just have a look at it. A old lady is squatting down on the floor, hitting with a stone. That is very unhygienic process, but it is around 60-70 years before it started. But what is the advancement that has taken place? You can just look at it. Hand-come pedal operated deshelling machine. The nuts are placed between the two blades. Once it is actually held between the two blades, the hand lever is lifted to open the two shells, and afterward it is extracted. You can just see that one, how it is done. So the very important thing is the kernel should not break, and the oil should not get into that one. Once it is actually the oil get into that broken kernel, it is a contaminated kernel. So the two ladies working with this particular machine, they will be able to do 80 kg of raw cashewnut per day. And still there is an improvised machine over that one. instead of people working, pressing the pedal with the leg and lifting the lever by hand, this is simply feeding the nut. A motor is provided at the bottom. So the drudgery is reduced to the greatest extent, but the output is same. That is what it is actually the improvement that has taken place. The next one is, you can just have a look at it. This is completely automated unit. Each nut in a mass, it is lifted one by one, and afterwards it is thrown inside a structure where it will go between the two blades and shelled. And finally, you can just see here how the shells are coming out. The shells are opened properly, and the whole kernel is extracted. So once the steaming is done, this is the next operation, deshelling, where the shells are removed and the whole kernels are extracted. And the next one is, even after removing that whole kernel, it has got a testa layer surrounding that particular one, just like any notebook wrapped up with a brown paper in the school days or something. The same way here, the cashew kernels are surrounded by the testa layer, which is very much adhering to the surface of the kernel. It's very difficult to remove it with a knife or by any means immediately after extraction the shelling. So it has to undergo, or it has to be exposed in a hotter environment, for which the machineries are required. This is actually externally generated hot air that will be supplied to a cubicle chamber. It is nothing but a dryer. You can just have a look at it. This is the dryer wherein the cashew kernels are put in a tray and the trolley is loaded inside. And the hot air generated is circulated inside within this particular cubicle chamber, and it is exposed for 6 to 7 hours at 70 degrees centigrade. It all depends on the size of the kernel and what is the moisture level of that particular cashew kernel. And beyond that one, you can just look at it. This is steam assisted cashew kernel dryer. People can think of it, whether steam can dry the cashew kernel. Yes, it can do it, through which the radiators and the fan assembly at the bottom, it is actually shown here. There is a radiator through which, when the steam goes inside, the heat content that will be ejected, whereas it will get condensed and the condensed water will be coming out. Because of that one, the pure or the highly whitish kernel one can obtain from this particular one. 800 kg capacity, this particular dryer is available, and it is actually throughout the country, it is sold in the market, and it has got a trolley and a tray. So all the cashew kernel will be evenly spread on that one, 4 to 5 kgs, and loaded in this particular one, and it is exposed to 75 to 80 degrees centigrade. Kindly please note down here, one should not go beyond 80 to 85 degrees centigrade. Otherwise, probably people may think that actually even I can raise it to 120 to 150 degrees centigrade for shortest period of time and dry the cashew kernel, take it out. By the way, the process will be quicker, but every chance that discoloration of the cashew kernel will take place. So importantly, I would like to mention here that temperature should not go beyond 80 degrees centigrade. Well, next operation is the peeling of the cashew kernel. The dried cashew kernel taken here. This is the oldest method, but of course it is not followed in India. We can just see that a lady is squatting down on the floor, collecting the cashew, unpeeled cashew kernel, getting at the bottom of the floor with the fingernail. She is actually removing it. It is unhygienic, but of course it started in our India. This is the way, and generating a lot of employment, especially for the women laborers. But it is not that non-availability of women labor. In order to increase the capacity, this is particular system, it's an improvised manual peeling with a stainless steel knife. How they are doing it, look at it, you can just understand. How the cashew kernels are held, where they put the knife at the first moment, and afterwards how it is rotated, that you can just see that one and look at it. This is the one thing to be noticed. In order to develop the skill, their capacity is 12 to 14 kg per day. And it is actually highly skilled labor. And this one is actually the machine system. It is developed by 4 cashew processor having a lot of knowledge on cashew processing system. It is based on the pneumatic the air system. It is actually the cashew kernel peeling is taking place. We just have a look at it from feed hopper. Cashew kernels are transferred by bucket elevator. Sorry. And you can just look at it. See, this is the chamber where it is going up. And when it goes to the chamber, high velocity air impinges on the surface of the cashew kernel and remove that surface layer, that is testa. And later on, through the grader, it is graded into 4 pieces or broken kernel, 2 pieces of split, and whole kernel. This is how the peeling is taking place. As far as the grading, once it is graded, finally it comes to the last level. That is actually the grading of the cashew kernel. Like any other agriculture commodity, grading is done to enhance the value of the cashew kernel. Probably when you just have a look at it, this is the manual grading. The high, degree of hygienic condition need to be followed. Cleanliness is very, very important here. And highly skilled laborers are engaged for this purpose. And there are 23 internationally accepted grades are segregated in this particular section. Just to have a look at it, either it will be a plastic container or sometimes it is actually the container made out of aluminum or stainless steels are used for the purpose. And they are supposed to have an apron and even the, hairnet. The speed at which they are working, their capacity is around 50 to 150 kg, depending on the size of the cashew kernel, maybe whole kernel or broken kernel. And in order to reduce the drudgery or improvise the system, this is the system. It is a nanopix, automatic grading system. It is developed for size grading of the cashew kernel. It's one of the best machine available in the cashew processing system to pick up the cashew kernel based on algorithm or AI system. It grades the cashew kernel accordingly, and it is divided into 6 different grades. Well, this is for the whole kernel. When we go for broken kernel, it may be a 4 pieces, 2 pieces, 8 pieces or something. It's a reciprocating sieve system. You feed the cashew kernel on the top. Because of the shaking on the surface of the sieves, it is graded into jumbo half or split. That is 2 pieces, and LWP or FWP. That is large white pieces or baby bits, very small cashew kernel, or finally even the cashew flour also collected. And when you look at it, cashew processing system, nothing is waste. When you go in the during peeling, the tester comes out of that particular system, and even the tester, they suspect that there may be some cashew kernel baby bit that might have gone into that one. Using a destoner, this particular way, they are segregating the left out cashew kernel in that particular one. You can see that even it may amount to 1 or 2 kg even after processing 4 tons of cashew kernel. But there are certain machineries available to segregate, because cashew is actually, kernel is a highly priced commodity. Well, these are the different grades of cashew kernel. One basically have to understand to fix up the price, understand the market. When I say that WW180, the first grade, it is actually the premium or Raja grade. It means that actually white holds 180 number of kernels in 1 pound. 1 pound equal to 454 gram, or approximately you can take half a kg of, half a kg. In half a kg, the number of kernels should not be more than, between 175 to 180. On an average, it should be 180 kernel. It means it is a king size or bigger size. Slightly lower than that size, actually, it means that WW210, it is white holds 210 kernels constitute the particular grade. Like that, we have WW180, 210, 243, 24, 50, and 500 different grades of cashew kernel. It is all based on the size of the cashew kernel. When the surface of the color, cashew kernel changes to light brown, it is called scorched holes. And the scorched hole, there are 6 different grades, that is 180, 210, 243, 24, 50, and 500. And when the cashew kernels are actually too much scorched or more brown in color, it is called scorched hole seconds or SSW. When the cashew kernels got actually dotted spots or shriveled, or even brown patches are appearing on the top, because it may be the quality in the raw cashewnut itself that may not be good. So that may lead to that particular desert holes, that is called DW. When 1/4 of the portion is chipped off, that is called buds. And large size nuts are divided into 2, that is called splits. When smaller whole kernels are divided into 2, that is called, larger size kernels, it is all called jumbo half JH. Smaller size kernel, that is called splits or S. Even when splits are divided into 2, that is large white pieces, LWP. Like that, we have 23 international grade accepted in the market. When you go for domestic market, more than 60 to 70, grades are available. It doesn't have clear specification. Depending on the seller and buyer understanding, it's all going in the market. Well, it is the last part of it, actually, the packaging of the cashew kernel. When we want to, transport to the distant location, definitely packaging, system plays an important role. There are 2 different types of packaging that is followed in cashew processing system. One is actually the tin container packaging of 11.34 kg. At present, it is actually 10 kgs. Once the cashew kernels are filled in the tin container, it's actually the Vita packing system. There, you can just see here, this is a Vita packing system. There, the video is on. So once it is actually, the bell jar comes down, and it will be evacuated in the sense actually the air what is inside that particular tin container will be sucked out and it will be flushed with carbon dioxide. Afterward, keeping the cap on the top, it will be sealed with a lead material. Because some lead material, LED, that as LED material is used in for this particular container, majority of the importing countries, they banned this particular one. And today, any cashew kernel going in tin container is not accepted by Western, Europe or even, Western countries, even Australia, New Zealand and other countries. So this is only followed for domestic supply because once it is used, the tin containers can be brought back and it can be reused. And this one particular system is a bit costly one compared to MVP or molded vacuum packaging. This is the thing, you can just look at it. The cashew kernels actually transferred to that particular 5-layered plastic material. And once it is completed, it will be put inside this particular cubicle container. And afterwards, it will be placed inside MVP, that molded vacuum packaging. Therein, the same kind of, the removal of the oxygen or in terms of air that will take place and it will be flushed with, a mixture of gas that is actually nitrogen carbon dioxide. Here, the cost is less and during movement, it doesn't take, the breakage will be very, very less. And it is a transparent one. And it is very much preferred by the other countries because the content inside the packaging system is quite visible. Well, let us move on to the value-added system, that is a secondary processing. And here I would like to brief about this value addition in terms of the costly sweet available in this country. Kaju katli is one of the costliest sweet available in this country. The basic material is from cashew kernel. So instead of selling plain cashew, if you are able to convert into kaju katli and selling the market, there is every chance that the profitability increases by 30 to 40%, and probably some people in Delhi market, they are able to do it 100 to 120% profit. And other than this kaju katli, that is cashew kernel based product, simply give a coating or flavoring of surface or something like that. One can go for that is a chocolate coated or spice coated or salted, roasted and salted. Anything that can go in the market that will add definitely 20 to 30% extra. These are few products developed by KCDC in Kerala. That is Cashew Vita. They have got a patent for that one. Earlier we used to have a bone vita. Now Cashew Vita, highly nutrient mixer that is available for that one. The cashew powder, you can think of it like converted into powder that can go for a soup making industry or even for the ice cream industry. And cashew butter is another product which is used for that one. Cashew oil is extracted and it goes to the pharmaceutical industry as a face cream. Yes, this is actually important thing. Some people having a lot of financial support or something, they can go for large scale industry. But as a producer, a farmer wants to start a processing unit. So in order to gain more profit out of it, they can go for a downsized technology of cashew processing, everything under one roof. It is a very, very small scale cottage level unit. The total machinery cost is 2,50,000 rupees, and hardly 5 into 4 meters square space or rectangular space is required for the purpose. There are people in Maharashtra, there 3,000 units started of same kind. And in Kasargod, Kudumbashree, that is a Safalam group of company, all of them belong to SC/ST community. They started in the name of, under the support of Kudumbashree, successfully running, and their total turnover is around 3.5 crores after 13 years of, existence of this particular unit. And another one is 350 units, it's available, it is existing there in Kadampuliyur. It's a small hamlet or a village near Pandruti in Tamil Nadu. So those people actually, it is a home level cashewnut processing. They procure the raw cashewnut or whatever they cultivated, they will be having that raw cashewnut, and a common facilities available in that village, especially for steam boiling and drying. Once it is steam cooked, by paying some amount to them, they bring it to their home and shelling will be done by those people. And after extracting the kernel, once again, they go to the common facility for drying the cashew kernel, bring back and go for peeling on, at the home level. Finally, grading the cashew kernel, they're selling in the market. If it is mostly targeting for the retail seller, but very many people join together, put it together, and they sell it to the large scale industry through large scale unit existing in Pandruti region. They are either able to send it to other parts of the country or they are exporting to other countries. So the unit weight benefit is 160 rupees per kg. One can gain it. Let me just explain about this particular one. When a farmer is having a number of cashew trees, 100 numbers, and on an average, if they are able to get 6 kgs per tree, it means that they are able to get 600 kg of raw cashewnut in a season. And when they sell the raw cashewnut directly to the market at the rate of, today the price is 140 rupees per kg. They will be able to get 84,000 by selling the raw cashewnut itself. Instead of that one, when they start a small scale unit and having a selling percentage, that is a very, very important, that indicate the quality. So what is happening? The receipt through wholes and broken in the ratio of 4:1, that 80% wholes and 20% broken. It is a certain assumption we have to make it for this calculation. They will be able to get 1,20,000 rupees through cashew kernel, and byproduct they will be able to gain 5,400, altogether 1,25,400 rupees. And the net value addition is minus 84,000, that is 74,400. They are able to do it by processing the raw cashewnut instead of selling the raw cashewnut. Unit weight benefit, what they are getting is 209. So instead of selling at the rate of 140, when they process it, they will be able to get for every kg of raw cashewnut 69 rupees. This is for the farmer. Suppose women self-help group or the youth want to start a cashew industry in their village or any location. For example, they want to process only 40 kg per day for 25 days in a month during the season of 3 months only. So 40 into 25 into 3 tons of raw cashewnut they have to procure from the market and process it. They have to pay 140 rupees per kg. It means they have to spend 4,20,000 to get raw cashewnut. When they process, the processing cost is not more than 10 rupees. It will be slightly lower than that one if their family members are involved in that particular unit. So the cost involved for processing is for 3,000 kg is 30,000 rupees. So total processing cost is 4,50,000 rupees. By selling the cashew kernel and the byproduct, they will be able to get 6,82,000 rupees. The kernel at the rate of 750 rupees and shell at the rate of 12 rupees per kg. This is what the assumption and the present ruling price for the cashew kernel and shell. So what is the profit they can get it? It is 2,32,000 rupees in 3 months' time. So every month they will be able to get 77,340, or rather I can say that in a month 75,000 they can gain it. It is actually a good income for a family of, those who are actually, if it is actually started with a women self-help group or a youth who is looking for employment in their location itself. So at last, I would like to mention that actually we have Agribusiness Incubation Center started in 2018 and continuously actually offering training for any entrepreneur. So whom you are expecting, the person who doesn't have knowledge on cashew, who doesn't have money, but having more interest for the cashew processing system. So they can approach us by sending an application to our institute, and depending on the number of people, in fact, what they are supposed to pay to our institute, it is 40,000 rupees for 4 people. It is hardly, costing them 10,000 rupees per head. Once if they come to our institute, 3 days training program will be conducted in an agri incubation center in the name of incubation training. When they undergo that incubation training for 3 days, and I'm the person who will be offering the training, and a complete knowledge on the procurement of raw cashewnut, technicality of the machine, so what to procure and what are the measure to be taken during the processing, what are the processing parameters to be fixed up to extract the maximum percentage of the whole, and way to sell the cashew kernel, that marketing system, everything will be taught. And the major advantage of the undergoing training as an incubator, suppose if they want to use our facility, they can stay in our institute and our facility can be utilized paying a nominal amount to this one. They can bring the raw cashewnut and do the processing. By the way, they will become superior in the technical issues, and at the same time, since we are there with them, where to sell the market, the cashew kernel will be helping them in a shorter period of 3 to 6 months. They will develop confidence to go for a startup in cashew processing system at their own side. They can go for it. That is what we are doing under Agribusiness Incubation Center. And if anybody wants to develop an innovative technology, if they have idea, they don't have facility, they can approach us, and together we can work on that one. And what is needed at present moment for the cashew industry, we can think of it and come out with the machinery which can be commercialized, and it will give huge amount of money in the name of patent and commercial value for that particular one. And somebody wants to start up a cashew processing system, because anybody who approach a banking sector or even MSME, PFMFME, they have to prepare a detailed project report to get some fund from that particular, center or the scheme. Very importantly, the detailed DPR helpful, which will be helpful to understand how the project will be moving on in another 5 years. So in future years, how it will happen, all those things, it will be indicated in that one. So one has to go for preparation of DPR and start up with the, cashew process system. If anybody wants to undergo only the training in value addition, that also we are doing it, or existing industry, they can contact us to rectify the problem, because very many industries, their major problem is extract the quantity of the whole kernel. They are unable to get a white whole kernels, or otherwise the discoloration of the cashew kernel is taking place in their system. So we will be able to provide our expertise to, set right that particular issue and enhance their profit level. Thank you all for giving an opportunity to present the overall system of cashew in India. So what are the opportunities available, and in spite of that one, what are the challenges ahead of the system? So once again, I'm thanking you all. Thank you. Hello.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, sir, for a very detailed presentation. Since we are running short of time, I'll just try to take minimum questions because we already crossed 1 hour mark.
Yeah.
Okay. What are the key stages in cashew value chain in India from farm to export?
Yes, it's a very good question. Let me just tell you that actually procurement of raw cashewnut of better quality, that is a very, very important thing. The bold size nuts, if it is procured, probably they will end up with the W180 grade that will fetch premium price in the market. So if they go for the other end, that is puny nuts, it may be immature nuts or something. So one should know that actually how to, check the quality of the raw cashewnut. That is important. Key stage that one has to understand. Second thing is actually steaming the raw cashewnut in the processing system. Third one is drying of the raw cashewnut and the humidification. These are the three important stages as far as the cashew value chain is concerned.
Okay. And which regions in India have the most efficient cashew processing infrastructure?
Which industry?
Which regions in India have the most efficient cashew processing infrastructure?
Yes, it's a very important question. Probably I can say that today everywhere the cashew processing system or fully automated system is available. But earlier, probably a decade back, I can say that Mangalore in Dakshin Kannada is the place. These processors, they take a risk of procuring the machinery from different parts of the world, whatever may be the machine. They get it, check it, and they give information to other, processors, available in other parts of the country. And sometime back, probably I can say that a couple of decades before, and the cashew kernel which are generated from Mangalore, it used to be called as premium nuts, and they used to get a premium price for that one. But today, everybody has understood what is actually the, the cashew processing system as a whole, and what kind of machineries to be procured, because 8,200, probably can say that 8,000 units in cashew, in India constitute cashew processing system. It's all spread all over the country. So probably if anybody wants to know about it for a different level of processing, what I can say that scale of production, and they can contact our institute. We can suggest the specification for the machineries with which they can go for it. At the time of procurement, they can check it, and they can buy the machineries to go for setting up a processing unit.
Okay. And how can small farmers integrate into cashew value chain more profitably?
That's what I just showed a couple of slides where the small farmer, producer become a processor. Investing 2.5 lakhs or something like that, they can procure the machineries in a small scale, maybe called as a tiny or cottage level. They can go for processing, because when they go to the field in the afternoon, their members are free. They were involved, and very many such systems are available in our country in a remote location of Dakshin Kannada district also, even in Puttur, Sulya regions also. They have started and they are running in a profitable way. They don't want to sell the raw cashewnut. They are converting into cashew kernel and selling in the market.
Okay. And what are the major export opportunities for processed cashew and cashew-based products?
I made it clear that actually exporting cashew kernel is not a attractive market price at present. So earlier it used to be 50% exported to other countries. So whatever we are exporting, one should understand to get more money for that one. When we are exporting and get around 650 rupees per kg of cashew kernel and selling the cashew kernel in the domestic market 800 rupees, better to sell it in the domestic market and make more money. One thing, important thing, what I want to mention, the broker India has got a very good market for broken kernels. But when we go for the whole kernels or something, somebody has to keep it for some time, and during festival season, the consumer preference consumer preference take place. So those things, only whole kernel market, one has to look for the export. So instead of selling the plain cashew to other countries, if they are able to convert into value-added product in in a changed surface characteristic or something like that, if it is sold to other countries, it will have more value. And MOFPI, that is Ministry of Food Processing Industry, they can approach to have more information on what are the subsidies available for exporting the cashew kernel to other countries.
Okay. And are there any emerging markets or value-added products like cashew, butter, milk, etc., with good potential?
No doubt about it. It is actually today, even an ordinary person, when he goes to that bakery or something, they try to, they prefer that spice coated cashew or salted and roasted and salted cashew or something. Today, not more than 25 different flavored cashew kernels are available, even coated cashew kernel. And if you say some of the spices or something, I can tell you what is the coating that can be given. Chili coated, green chili coated, red chili coated, honey coated, sugar coated. Spice also, it is actually chaat masala coated, and the spice on their own, they coated cashew kernels are available in the market. It is preferred rather than plain cashew. So what they want is get the value-added product and eat it, not to take it to the home to fry it and eat it, cashew kernels. Because of that affordability, it has improved in our system, and the style of living also, because of that IT field, probably the style of living improved, the affordability improved, and the people are going for that value-added product. So it has got a very good potential in the domestic market itself.
Okay. And what government schemes or subsidies are available to support cashew processors and entrepreneurs?
Cashew processor, that's what I said, that in the existing cashew processing units, in order to go for advanced technique, MOFPI, that Minister of Food Processing Industries, they are extending the financial support for that one. They have to approach PFFME and MSME, and probably these are the two schemes at present. It is available for women self-help group. That I just want to mention about, pinpoint that one. And otherwise, if it is for youth or something, Make India program, they can approach that particular ministry, and they may be able to spare around 90% of their 10% for the total investment, especially for machinery only, infrastructure and procurement of raw cashew, that is working capital, they have to look out for on their own, especially for the banking sector.
Okay. And what are the latest advancements in cashew nut processing technology?
I have showed slides of running that video or something, how it started in the beginning, what are the improvements that has taken place at the different stages of operation. Probably let me start from the beginning, it is actually the static boiler system, it was there. Now it is a rotary boiler in order to ensure that uniform cooking. Followed by that one, earlier it used to be that hand come pedal operated shelling machine, now it's automatic shelling machine available. And third one is actually that, a steam assisted dryer of higher capacity, 800 kg capacity is available to dry the cashew kernel. And for peeling, actually automatic peeling machine, it is 30 kg capacity is available, 100 kg capacity, even 1 ton per hour. It's a huge industry. Probably at present, I would like to mention that very many industries, when they talk about 4 tons of raw cashew, that is 4,000 kg per day, there is one industry in Karkala, and they are producing around 70 to 80,000 tons per day. It's one of the largest cashew industries. We have got the fame all over the India, world. We have got the largest cashew industries in the world.
Okay. And yeah, are there any cost-effective technologies suitable for farmer producer organizations or rural cashew units?
steam boiling system is itself is a cost-effective system because it gives additional revenue through that cashew shell and tester. And if you go for drum roasting, pollution is the greatest problem. Another one, the catching of the take place. That is what it is happening with the drum roasting system. In spite of that one, it has got a good flavor. That is what it's playing. And certain parts of the world, they prefer the drum roasted cashew kernel. Of course, because the cashew shell is actually completely burnt off, it doesn't give that additional revenue through that one. So cost-effective system, it's only that steam boiling system is considered to be the system for Indian cashew processing.
Okay. And what are the major challenges in the cashew value chain in terms of quality, labor, or logistics?
Challenges, that's what. Probably I can say that different parts of the country, they are growing with the different varieties. There are certain varieties which can give the large, the bold size nuts. For example, Kandanu nuts, which are considered to be one of the, the bold size nuts, and it fetches premium price in the whole India. And we move to that, northeastern region, those cashew cultivation started, very many years, probably 30, 40 years before or something. It's very small nuts. It's very difficult to process the raw cashew because most of the machineries are developed for medium-sized nut. It's very difficult to adjust for suiting to that smaller nuts. So the quality of the nuts, it's a big challenge at the time of procurement, and the price cost of that actually raw cashew nut plays a big role. And in the line of processing, the fixing the processing parameter at steam boiling or shelling, drying, humidification, peeling, or even the grading, packaging, everywhere the optimized processing parameters need to be fixed. Marketing level, well, it's a competitive market. You just think of it, 7,000 units are available. Everybody is producing that cashew kernel, and they are all available. Everything is available in the market. Well, they have to have a creative idea, something, a new technique, how to market the product, how to reach the consumer. Those things they have to think on their own, approach it. Probably these are the new challenges, and it all depends on the quality and the price. You have good quality, you can sell it at higher price. If you have lower quality, probably you have to go for lower price. And if you have good quality at lower price, you are successful in the market. So how strategic approach you are going to make it in the market, that is also going to be a challenge.
Okay. And how can farmers tackle price fluctuations and market risk in cashew trading?
Yeah, cashew kernel price in India, it's keep on moving up. And that particular, because I cannot, even this information itself, it is only 1/10 of the total cashew processing system. It exceeded 1 hour time. So that I could not give that price, price structure of cashew kernel over the years. And we have never faced the cashew kernel price which have gone down. And I'm sure that it will be moving. And what I can say that CGR, that is cumulative growth rate of cashew kernel, it's moving at the rate of 4.75%. So every positive, approach they can make it, that it will be in favor of hiking the price of cashew kernel and even raw cashew nut also. It's the farmer who is supposed to decide whether to go for selling the raw cashew nut as it is or start up a processing unit. Probably their family members will be employed and they get some additional revenue. Or if they engage the labor in their rural area, the rural unemployment problem can be addressed.
Okay. And what steps can be taken to reduce post-harvest losses in cashew processing?
What are the post-harvest losses that is taking place at present? I don't know. It is absolutely, that's what I said, that actually even what I can say that raw cashew nut, once it is harvested, it comes to, that is, it reaches that processing region. So probably what I can say that even a single nut will not be left out in the drying yard. The processor, especially the owners, they'll be go out of mode. Even one cashew kernel that is spilled on the surface of the the cashew processing unit, they'll be very careful in that one. By the way, probably less than 1% of the post-harvest losses that is taking place in the system. When they don't go for a particular system in packaging, probably what I can say that right moisture content, mold formation, or aspergillus species. So every chance that actually the cashew kernel, one kernel, deteriorated kernel, or the kernel which is actually attacked by mold, it goes in the 10 container of 11.34 or 10 kg tin container. In a shortest period of 10 to 15 days, the whole mass will get spoiled. So they have to take, extra care that the moisture content should be at equilibrium or safer level, and see to that one it is exposed to the, water environment, so that it is protected by, from the microorganism. So even I just explained about, showed one of the, videogram, where after peeling the testa, the whole testa material is taken to the destoner, and even a small bits of cashew kernel taken out. That is called as actually baby bits. Probably today what we are eating, that cake, that is actually sprinkled on the top. That is the baby bits available from the testa location. So that is cleaned properly. Probably it was dried or something like that. It reaches the, bakery industries. There on the surface of the pastry, it is sprinkled, and everybody is releasing it. It costs around 250 rupees per kg. I don't think not much post-harvest losses that is taking place. If you talk about cashew apple, yes, that is taking place, which is not in the, purview of this particular presentation.
Okay. So last two questions. How can FPOs and SSGs or cooperatives benefit from linking with cashew processors and exporters?
Yeah, very good question. That actually the, farmers, community group or something. So they, generate a lot of cultivate cashew, and when they join together, and the moment the processor wanted it, when in a fragmented way, when they sell the raw cashew through the agent, intermediaries, they get the major, income out of it, or they tap the income. And for example, in a, farmer, when he sells the raw cashew nut, he is not getting more than 90 to 100 rupees even at the present moment. And those who are having good knowledge about the system in a nearby location where the cashew process are available, they directly go to that industry and transfer the nuts, and they get to 140 rupees. Whereas remote location, where they have more amount of work, or they don't have much knowledge, ignorance, the intermediaries, they approach them, collect the raw cashew nut, take it to the industry, and they take more than 30-40% of the total processing cost. So when they join as a group, as an FPO, they can fix up the price, and they can look for the season or the time at which it reaches the, maximum level, and take into account that season itself, they should be able to sell it. And depending on the, immediate money requirement of the individual farmers, strategically they can approach in a big quantity, because majority of the large scale farmers, they want to buy in huge quantity. They can approach large scale industries. They're ready to pay the amount, and instantly. So that way the FPOs can be benefited by joining in the group. And you asked the next one, that is SSP, small scale processes.
SHG.
SHG, self-help group.
Yeah.
It may be male or female, whatever it may be. See, that's what I just, highlighted the success story of 3,000 units in Maharashtra state, Sindhudurg and Ratnagiri. They 10 women self-help group, that is women joined together, started a self-help group. Their everyday processing only 40 kg, or sometimes at 80 kg. 10 people join together, their work will be over by afternoon. And they are unable to. The major problem with SKG is to sell the cashew kernel. Such as 3,000 units, how can they just club together and sell it to the market? That is the major problem with SKGs. So what they do, that a very good network or a system developed in Maharashtra, that NGOs, they are helping them. The NGO divided the 3,000, 100 to 150 unit they cover. One NGO covers it. He collect the cashew kernel and send it to the Mumbai market, or he take it to the Mumbai market, sell it. With a, government approved rate of 2 to 3%, they take it, and the remaining, the money it is transferred to the, self-help group. That way, a system should work, especially to help the SKGs. Another SKG is what I can say, that SCST Kudumbashree in Safalam group of company, that is cooperative society in Kasaragod, Kerala. And when they arrived to our institute, 70 people attended the training in 2009. Now 180 people are working. Instead of 5 units or something, it's actually hub and fork mechanism. Very many small units are started in different location. Once actually reach that, peeling stage, after peeling, it will reach the grading location. It is a central unit where they grade it, value add, package it, and sell it in the market. So they too face the problem, but what happened? The government of Kerala, they deployed one MBA for them in a, marketing system. A couple of years he worked for the unit and developed the marketing network, and they don't have absolutely no problem. That's what I said, that today they have their total, yearly turnover is around 3 to 4 crores of, production. Hope you are satisfied.
Okay. Okay, yeah. So last question. What role can ICAR and Directorate of Cashew Research play in building a stronger value chain?
This too, slide also I explained very clearly. That was the last slide. Agribusiness Incubation Center. It started in 2018. Around 52 incubators entered the training in last, 2.5 years. Majority of them, they started the processing unit. Probably I can say that a few people from Tamil Nadu, West Bengal, Andhra Pradesh, they have become crorepati. They have become millionaire. They started just like a small scale unit. They expanded the system of, obtaining raw cashew and supply to the other, a distant location, getting the shell and doing it, selling to Panduti region for extracting the shell oil. That way, they diversified it, and that is the way they are doing it. So we are offering training not only on cashew nut, even value addition to cashew kernel and cashew apple processing also. We have expertise, and we will be able to give training for 3 days. That they can contact our institute, and even my phone number is given here, and very well they can contact me. I can guide them to contact the right person whom to be contacted, and once if they are coming in a group, we will be able to offer training. Because as an individual, if they come, it is not a cost effective one. That is how we are doing it. Even if anybody wants something related to cashew cultivation also, what is the variety suitable for their land, what is the package of practices to be followed, all this information. This is the nodal center, and this is the only center available, a very successful center all over the world. They can approach us.
Okay. Okay, Dr. Balasubramanian, I don't see any more questions. So now we have come to end of question round. On behalf of agricultureinformation.com, we like to thank you for a very detailed presentation and answering all the questions in depth. So we'll be ending this meeting now.
Thank you.
Have a good evening. Thank you.